button. Well, then we wait. We double check our sources, TikTok, YouTube's. Oh my gosh. I think we're working. Have I used both sides? I've probably used both. I have used both sides. So we're gonna set this squeegee up. Hi everybody. Good. YouTube's. Good. All right. Hit the like button. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So we are just getting set up. I've got this Cadillac 2 tint. My slip solution's been sitting for 3 days. It's annoying. I set this up, and we didn't use this. We used the student kegs. Yeah, blow everybody's eardrums out. So we're gonna fill this up. Yo, DW, is that the DW? The DW? If anybody's worried about wasting slipples, then you, thank you. I have a tendency to overfill this one. But yeah, I did it as a demo for the class, and then we just used everybody else's kegs this time. But I got some backup. I think I'll be okay. All right. So, let's go from here, hang on sideways for a second, to there. We can see what's going on. I got my little space heater here. This is nice. I've lost my voice. This is as good as it sounded, but I may not have a voice by the end of it. But we're gonna fill up this keg. We don't need to fill it up all the way, even though I usually like to. So we'll fill this up about halfway, and then we're gonna take this stuff, tint slip, and we're gonna fill it up. So we got 1 ounce there, and we're gonna wait for that to fill up a little bit more. Been busy working with some shops, rescued some dogs, doing things. Nice, super cool. If I'm mobile, do you recommend only take jobs where people have a garage? Yeah, I would. Especially if you haven't tinted, definitely. Because you're fighting against so much, especially this time of year. You got wind, you got sun. Not as much sun this time of year, but we're gonna fill up a little over half an ounce, and then we'll do there. But yeah, 100%. Tinting outside super difficult. It's not that it can't be done. It's that especially when you haven't done it before, you're working against so many things. The wind just wants to take your tint and rip it off the car. We'll do doors outside, but not front or rear windshields. That'd be a little easier. I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've tinted anything outside. So, I am not an expert in outside tinting, because I've always pretty much refused to do it. Tried a couple times with some small jobs like outside shops, but I pretty much I was raised in a shop environment. And then some people would be like, hey, can you go here and tint that? And I tried to tint something outside briefly, and I'm like, nope, no can do, sorry. All right, so we're going to be doing apex on this one. We're doing 50 on the full windshield. We're going to do 20 on all the sides and the rear. And apex is like double tinting your car in ceramic. So this one should be fun. So I'm going to prep. We're going to go this door, that door, this door, that door. And I'm going to go through prepping steps twice. So we're going to start with the front doors, and then we're going to do the back doors. But there's people that are always coming in and out. So we're going to kind of reset when we go to do the back doors. Instead of prepping everything all at one time, we'll take it in stages here. So we're going to double cut the front doors. Tape this up. We're going to roll this up. We need to turn on the car. Okay, fun fact about GMs is, okay, we do have the key in here, so that's good. I wasn't sure if we did. So if you press and hold this button, you're going to turn it on for longer than, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So if you press and hold, there we go. Everything kicks on. You usually hear a beep, but you know all the lights turn on. So that means it's in ignition mode, not accessory mode. Double, yes. So instead of one layer of ceramic, this is getting 2 layers of ceramic. Are my prices too cheap? I charge $200 for trucks, $250 for SUVs. Every area is different. So what I recommend doing is calling around in your area, seeing what other people are charging. You're going to kind of find a range. You're going to find a low end, and you're going to find a high end. And you want to decide where you can be in that range, and then you'll really know. I feel like 200 anywhere is a little difficult to grow a business off of. 250 and up makes it a little easier because there's always extra expenses and things, and it depends on how many cars you can do a day and how long it takes you. I didn't know about double. I know, everybody just says ceramic, but there's kinds of ceramic. I'm actually ready to drive people crazy with that because people just started learning about ceramic. $250 for the whole car. Is that with the, actually, I'm assuming that's without the windshield. Is that with the windshield? Because $200 with the windshield is crazy cheap. If that's without the windshield, it's not as bad. Okay, so I've got old slip sitting in here. It'll still be fine for now, but when we go to install, we got to make sure that line is cleared. So we're going to take our 20%. This way, this way, this way. Ugh. Oh, all the doors and rear glass. Okay. Yep, that's more in line with what I thought it was. $150 for windshields. That's better. All right, so we're going to cut off a piece here. Why is the windshield half the cost of the entire car? Because they are very time consuming. And you kind of have to be extra critical with the windshield because you're always looking at it. So believe it or not, this window in and of itself might seem just like a back window. Back window you can get done in honestly half the time. wasted so much. Why? Because we're throwing this out? Or are we going to use it? We're going to flip this piece around. We're going to put it here on the window. We're going to cut two pieces out at the same time. Long time no see. Daniel Reyna, what's up, man? Doing good. Here we go. Put that there for right now. We just had a tint class, so I'm going to try and force myself to use this a little bit more. This is the Snitty safety cutter. I just am so, like, I love these things. I just grab my knife more often than not. But I should be using these way more than I actually do. Should be using them in place of wherever I use my knife for that kind of stuff. I got a Snitty. They're nice, aren't they? Okay, so let's start with this side. This side's gonna be a little bit easier to show. So we need to trim our patterns, and we have this little rubber here, so we don't wanna cut into that. So in order to cut a side edge, we're gonna put just the very first click out on our knife. And so we're gonna put that here against the glass, and the blade holder is gonna hold the tint against the window as we make that cut. So I'm gonna pinch in, poke into the tint, and then see that blade holder? It keeps the tint from riding up the blade. And then you can make a nice clean cut. Voila. Then we're gonna rinse behind there because we locked our patterns together. We're gonna slide this over. So we need to create a little bit of overlap. So we're gonna slide over about that much, and then we're gonna go cut this edge. We're gonna do that same thing, blade out about that far, and then we're gonna tuck it into this lower corner because I got a mirror in the way. Ta-da! Perfect. We go back and forth between plotters and not using plotters. I like trying them more for doors because core patterns are pretty damn good. But if we're not in a rush, then I like to go for what I know is precision rather than guess is precision. Tack those in place. Lovely. Check the inside seal here. Little tight. So we don't want to drag our pattern very far down. I like this spot pretty good. Everything's pretty lined up. Let's double check, make sure that this is stuck. Good. Then we're gonna roll this down. How long will it take to get good at hand cutting? It depends on the person. I think hand cutting, like if you force yourself to repeat steps and focus extra hard on just that skill in particular, you could be really good within a week or two. Because it's just like a lot of people, they're gonna start from the beginning, go through the entire thing, and then they're gonna start over. When it's really like if you just take some film, and you're like, I'm gonna learn with this. Make this cut, shift it over. Make this cut, shift it over. Make this cut. Same thing with the top. It's like it doesn't take long. Our class, we had 4 students. All of them were like brand new. Nobody had hardly tinted anything before. Should we do pink? Or should we do green? Let's do green. But every one of them learned how to shrink inside like 2 days. cut this way. I get a mirror here, so if I cut this way, I'm going to run into the mirror. If I cut this way, I'm not running into anything. Let's do this. Da-da-da-da. Lovely. I'm having trouble finding a shop to work at in my city. Learn entry level, but no money for classes. It's tough, man. Everybody's got a different entry into it. Classes are really good accelerators for sure. They're not just going to make you into a tinter, so don't feel too bad about that. Get some film, get some tools, practice on your own car. There's so many resources out there. It's just really paying attention to the fine details. The guy that taught me only showed me how to use a plotter. Yeah, I could see that. So also, there's a lot of shops that are not going to want to teach somebody from the ground up. There's too many people that just take that. They take the skill, they'll work there for a little bit. They don't necessarily then, they settle into the shop. They kind of know how things run. And then they just look at what they can get paid. And then they go and do it themselves. And so that shop doesn't want to just train its immediate competition. So a lot of times those people are just going to take their existing prices and just cut them by I don't know, 20% or so. So yeah, it's a very tough business to grow and scale. Are you under the weather? Yes. I definitely lost my voice. I had a class and I lost it on the first day. This is about as good as it sounded. At least I can actually spit out some words. It was to the point where I literally couldn't say hardly anything without it just sounding like air. It was bad. Have them sign a non-compete. Non-competes are nothing. I don't know. Some government organization just banned non-competes, so they don't even exist anymore. But even when they did, they were really hard to uphold. So that's not an option. It's not really even a great way to do your business. It's legitimately tough. Non-competes are for big corporate stuff, not small, individualized skills like that. I paid for the training. He didn't want to waste time. Wow, that's actually... okay, that's shocking. Did you just pay a guy at a shop and he just didn't teach you how to hand cut? What got banned? Non-competes. They just don't exist anymore. I have the same faucet. Hell yeah. Let's go. I love having a sink right by where I work. It used to be all the way in that back corner. Dirty old wash tub. Well, it's good that he taught you stuff that you paid him to teach you. But yeah, teaching you off of a plotter, that's teaching you half the skill. Because it's just there's so much to know. So during this class too, people ask, do you teach bottom loading? Do you teach two-staging? We teach both. Same thing for back windows. We teach reverse rolling. We teach Frankenstein method because both are super popular. Everybody has preferences, and we try and show as much as we can. We show plotters and let people use them, but for the most part, we're hand cutting. I live in Vegas. Is there a tint that can help for the money? What do you mean? Does a back window with a quarter window count as one window? No, that counts as 2 windows. But I don't count windows like that, personally. All right, so we're going to shrink this window. And to do that, we're going to snap shrink it. So what does that mean? That means we're going to take the heat gun, we're going to run it along the bottom edge and curl it, and that's going to give us the shape that we need. So I keep my knuckles against the glass, or against this pillar here. I pull the film, but I still leave it anchored on that front edge. So this area is loose right now. Take the heat gun, let it warm up. Just give it a quick blast along the bottom. And you'll watch it all curl in. You don't need to do it very much at all. Just a small amount goes a long way. And then your window is shrunk. If we want to check it, we can wet it. Could probably be a little bit tighter, but I don't think this is going to cause any issues either. Does the cozy wing window and a normal window count as one? If it's divided by anything, it counts as another piece of glass. But every shop's a little different here. So if you're like, I want to get the front windows tinted, they're going to talk about these along with the quarter windows. Some shops might not realize a vehicle has quarter windows. That reminds me of a shop that I worked at for a while. There were so many small SUVs that would come in for front doors. And since we were doing wholesale prices, I had to constantly remind them. I was like, does that one have quarter windows? They're like, I don't know. And I was like, can you check? Or, I know that one has quarter windows. Did you charge for them? But if we were actually, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to tighten this one up just a bit. Just a bit, right here. Perfect. I like it. Okay, so I need a stool. I'm going to go grab this one. Oh, I had that one there? Oh, what the heck. You're a good teacher. Thank you. I really appreciate that. When you shrink, do you line up the bottom of the tint to the bottom of the window? No. You want to give yourself a little space. So you want to put as much film on the window as you can, but you don't want to fry any of the trim. So we have about a good inch or 2 right there at the bottom, just to make sure we don't singe that stuff. How much do you tint for a G37 coupe cost, not including the front windshield? So everything without the windshield on that one would start at $299. What do you do if the 2 films separate? Well, we already separated them, so I don't have to worry. So when I double cut, I don't double shrink. You definitely could, and if I actually remember, I'm gonna show on the rear doors, or I'll do it because I usually don't, and I get asked about it, and I just, to be honest, I just forget. Love your setup, thank you. I opened up a shop in Texas, and this is sick. Thanks, really appreciate that. This is like my bucket list setup. Is what this is. It's like overthinking window tint tech nerd setup space is what this is. What's a good reasonable price for a front windshield tint on a Chrysler 300? We would start it at 150. So I don't know if that's the best price for you, but you would get a hell of a film and a hell of a job. We're going to find the plastic that you use. 313tint.com. Your videos help me tint my windows. Hell yeah, that's the idea. Glad to hear it. What do you expect for profit margin? To be honest, I don't have a set number, but your film cost is not crazy. The majority of it is labor and time. Labor, time, and space. Which is why you see prices fluctuate all over the place. What do you do if the two films separate? At what part? Where's your shop? Sterling Heights, Metro Detroit area, called Detroit Tint Studio. When double cutting. Oh, so when you're double cutting, you want to make sure you tack both patterns together. So you squeegee them together so they don't do that. If they're sliding, I'll have them opposite of each other, so I have both liner sides facing each other, and they seem to stick really well that way. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I got my new slip running out of here at this point. I don't think it's the old stuff. It should be the fresh soap that I filled it up with. But you never know. But that seems pretty soapy to me. So if I spray this, I just want to make... Oh, wait, you hear that? Oh, it just came through. Okay, I was about to torch this. I was about to do this. Turn it off. I was about to do this. So it's not gonna hurt it. If anything, it's gonna make it a little bit nicer. How much for that car? Everything with the windshield on this one is $550. What do you think is the best practice tint for beginners? The best one that I came across with was T-View from Amazon. It's just a thicker dyed film, very similar to like a film that I'm using right now, just as far as like feel and overall shrinkability. It's a cheap dyed film, so it's very unlikely that the color is gonna hold up for a long time. So keep that in mind. But purely for practice, you do not need to spend a lot of money on film. But prime shipping. What do you think about using a glass whiteboard for a peel board? Yeah, that'd be fine. For starting out, you don't even need a peel board to start out. The car is, like, look at this. Where's my peel board? I don't know. This is the car. The car is the perfect peel board. It's right there. It's glass. And it's the right size. Every time. Yeah, having a separate peel board, like, is nice to do corners, or like if you do the Sharpie method, you can use a glass board for that. Like, they're nice to have, but they're not essential. You can 100% do everything on the car. All right, so sorry, camera, down a little bit. My bad. If that's happening, just tell me, because I don't always notice. How often do you change blades? I snap blades very frequently, and so I'll get use through the entire blade itself. and then I'll swap the blade. So usually one blade per car. What company film do you use? I use all GeoShield window films. So this is their Apex ceramic. This is the best film that they have. This is 2 layers of ceramic in one film. Unmute. I am unmute. What do you use for PPF? We also have GeoShield PPFs, but we're not really in PPF right now. No sound. I think there's sound. Yep, sound should be fine. Do you always start with a shop? What do you mean? Like to start tinting, you get a shop? No. It's good to utilize other people's spaces or utilize like a garage setup or something like that. How do we sign up for your training? 313tint.com. We'll have some more dates for some other months coming up pretty shortly. March is filling up pretty fast though now. I hate 2-staging. I don't blame you, especially if you're familiar with bottom loading. I only knew this way. So I didn't realize I was starting the difficult way. It was just the guy that I learned from tinted this way, and the communities, like this is like 16 years ago. So like communities and stuff just weren't really much of a thing. There we go. And then we're gonna wipe this off. How far below the seal do you recommend? Just below the first seal, and you'll be fine. Let's wipe this off. Check it over. Why did you put tape on the sides? Because I'm just weird. On this one, it's a rubber seal. It's a clean car. Is it gonna help a bunch? No, it's not gonna do a bunch. But it might keep 1 or 2 speckles out. What percent is that? This is 20. I swear it's 20. But we'll see. It's gonna meter darker because it's on the window now. Let's see. Inspector. Let's put this on. 16. I need to do my truck. How much do you think it'd be all around to do a full tint? Everything with the windshield would start here at $450. Okay, so we're gonna go to the other side of the car. Without the windshield, it would be $299. $299. Oh, we shrunk it. We shrunk it already. We should have saved it. We should have just saved the shrink. But we're gonna take this and this over there. Then we'll get a sprayer. We should probably use both sprayers. Do we waste some seconds? Do we get our second sprayer and empty the line? Are you gonna cut the back window with this one? That's a good question. Yes, I think I will. I think I'll hand cut everything on this one. How much time do you take doing an entire car with front windshield included? It depends on the pressure I'm under. Like this one's dropped off. I'm not stressed about anything. Pretty straightforward car. So I'll typically take up to 3 hours on it. If I was doing this in more of like a production setting, I'd be like 2 hours max is what I would aim for. But we'll tell people like up to 4 hours. Okay, I'm just waiting for this to run through. What size garage do you think for tinting? Ooh, water's warm now, so we're good. I'm in a 1-bay and it's tight. Yeah. At least a 20 by 25 space is gonna be like enough. It's gonna be a little tight for everything else, but you'll be able to pull in the vehicle and get everything done that way. I've tinted in tighter spaces. I'd say it's not fun, but getting a good space is not easy. Ooh, I'm gonna keep it. To remove old tint, what do you use? Adhesive. Tint strip. If I go to Los Angeles to where you're at, how much do you charge me? If you go to Los Angeles, I won't be there because I'm not there. Hang on, let me wipe that off. That a little bit better? Cool. But if you came to Metro Detroit, then I could tint it. Without a windshield, $299 with a windshield, $450, depending, and then it goes up from there depending on the film you go with. How do you clean a rear window with defroster lines? Clay bars, scrub pads, anything like that. Does what damage back windows? I don't do anything that damages any windows. Chem bath? Ooh. Oh, these are the cork backed ones. Nice. Let me grab another blade here. How do you install 5% on my windshield? Like, would I or how? You want me to just talk through the whole process? Or we could see with this one when we get there. This looks nice. So we're going to take off the sticker here. Then we're going to take off this one. Lower this window down a bit. Scrapey, scrape, scrape. Looks good. See all that? See all that? This is a laminated window. Rolls up and down, up and down, up and down. Dirt collects in that groove up there. Make sure you scrub those out. That's the kind of dirt that'll run down into your window. Good morning. Gonna have to come by and get it done? Hell yeah. All right, now we're gonna squeegee this off. Overlapping strokes here, top to bottom. Swipe the sides. Sound effects help a lot. Flush the sides. Cover the rest of it. Oh, I had another towel here. That's handy. And now we're gonna peel it. Grab that corner. Peel it straight down. We're gonna go halfway. So halfway there, halfway there. A little more than halfway on that side. But close. I did a mistake. I tinted the windows on a windy, cold day, and now I have pebbles. I have pebbles. You don't want pebbles in your tint job. What is that, and is there a fix? Can I just squeegee it off? No, unfortunately. That's literally dirt specks, and probably even pebbles. I'm not surprised. But it sticks in your tint like a flypaper. So it's just embedded in the glue. So you have to just rip it off and throw a new piece on. It's like if you were to paint something and then you just like stuck your finger in it. Like, how do you get that out? Well, you sand it back down and you repaint it. There we go. Swipe. Swipe. Make sure that's nice and close. Make sure it's not going to move. We're going to roll this up. Let's roll it back down. Make sure it didn't move. I feel like it did. Oh, yeah, it did. Just slightly right here on the front edge.
Can I get your card for lunch?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason said.
That's crazy.
Or Soroki's.
Oh, that sounds good. There you go. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Let's roll this back up. All right, so let's peel this liner. Wet the tint, and we're gonna tuck our corners. So to tuck this, we wanna get this edge flat here, pull back our seal, shuffle that in. Then we're gonna go to this side, we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna pull this seal back. That film's gonna start dropping down in there. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then we need to pick the film up. So you wanna take this, get that slack, pick it straight up, and then you can start shuffling the rest of your tint in. But as you do it, you pull back that seal ahead of where you're tucking. All right, like that. Find any spots that are kind of stuck and like bowed out from the seal. A little tight on the front there. Hold that back. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. So one thing that really throws people off is they just cut their patterns too long. You don't have to cut your patterns very long. Because if you're trying to tuck an inch or two of film down there, you're going to be fighting with it a lot. It's just going to crinkle up. It's not going to set. It's going to look terrible. When, like, your fear is really, like, is it going to peel? Well, we just removed these stickers, and they weren't tucked into the seals. So, like, window tint is just a big sticker. So it's helpful if it's tucked below that seal. You want it tucked below just the first seal, but it doesn't have to be tucked very far at all. So as long as you can get it in there, and your film is like nice and flush, it's not gonna peel. What do you think about the Super Bowl halftime show? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I did see some TikTok videos on it though. I don't know the history, but seemed funny. I always love to watch your videos. Thank you, Michael Jackson. The for real Michael Jackson? But yeah, if you have the most trouble tucking it on the front edge, totally get it. It gets tight here. So keep your patterns a little bit slimmer. If you don't have a heat gun and you leave it for a few days, can you shrink it? Come on, guy. Let's reconnect TikTok. I think it disconnected. Oh, TikTok, it was doing so well. If you don't have a heat gun and you leave it for a few days. So you're not going to shrink it, but the window is going to be dried out. And those fingers might stay down, but what's probably going to happen is it's just going to crease really bad. And it's going to look, it's just going to keep looking terrible. What's even a good analogy? Like if I forget to add eggs when I bake a cake, can I add them afterwards? And just kind of mash them in there? Sure, why not? It's all the same thing, right? Like, I'm always surprised. It's like, there's certain steps that we do, and everything has a purpose. So it's like, I don't know. I forgot to put the cylinders in my engine when I rebuilt it. Will it still start? And it's like, fuck no, man. Why'd you do that? Key is in sleep mode. Oh, don't tell me that. The problem is I don't know where the key is. But now the key's in sleep mode. Oh, it's really bad. Hang on, I gotta find it. Can I roll down the windows and start? Oh, it's on top. Wow, I was actually really good. Okay, I feel better now. I put it up here. Yay. Can I start the car without the key? I forgot it today. All right, press and hold. Here we go. What are some more analogies like that? I like that. Can't catch a break right now. Well, we got child lock. There we go. No more child lock. But I'll never make fun of people for not knowing and asking. But there are some of those questions that are just, they are funny. There's no way around it. It's absolutely just, it's just silly. Because it's like, can I do exactly what you're doing and just kind of half-ass it and still get to the same place? No, unfortunately you can't. Can I tint without a square? What do you mean by square? All right. So we're going to split this one in half. We're going to double cut it. Oh, squeegee? Sure. Just use your hand. Just push it. Yes, do it. Can I tint without buying tint? Yes, go for it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but got something in that head. Bring it to life. All right, so for cutting this, little click out. We're going to push it right in here. We're not cutting on the seal. We're riding this along the glass, and our blade is tilted outwards. We're just using the seal as a guide. Then we're going to shift this over. We shift it to the right because we want to make our pattern wider. Then we're going to go to this side, and we're going to trim it. The Wagner heat gun. My TTS made that sound really funny. The Wagner, which is probably how they intended it. The Wagner. The Wagner. Somebody should look up where a Wagner's made. Are they a German company? The Wagner. But here in Michigan, we say Wagner. Why did you start cutting the bottom edge? So these are two pieces of tint together. And instead of taking the time to try and line up the factory edges off of the 36-inch roll that I had, I just split it and then had to make one extra cut. It's Russian. Ah, okay. That works too. That checks out. So it's definitely supposed to be like Wagner. It's not supposed to be Wagner. Everybody at the company cringes when they hear somebody in the U.S. say their name. Is this 5%? It's 20, but right now we got 2 layers together. So actually, yes. Or it'll be damn close. We could put a meter on it and look. Should we do that? We should do that. That sounds fun. So before we separate them, where do you fold the tape on the door? This tape I use to just wrap around the seal. So I create a brand new seal. Okay, so let's put these together. 4. Yep, so that's right in line. You take 20% of 20. And then if we just do it for 1. Oh, 21. Oh, this is supposed to be 20. Dang. Fired. I'm a mechanic and I absolutely hate trying to do window tint. The feeling is mutual about anything mechanical like that. I don't like mechanical work. It's such a different skill set. It's on cars, but Window tint is. Oh, I forgot to tape this side. Okay, let's put this up here. Where can I get that meter? Amazon? What's the shelf life of window tint? Window tint generally lasts forever. You'll just fall behind eventually. But you could leave a film roll in a box for like probably 4 or 5 years and be completely fine. I can't guarantee that, but there is no like set. It needs to be used within a year timeline. Is that the meter the cops use? No, not the exact one. The ones cops use needs to be calibrated. I have that one, but they make a one called like the Enforcer or something, and it's a split meter. That was just a. It's still not cheap. It's like a $200 meter, but it's compact. I like that one a lot. Do I have? No, I took them out. Why am I always taking things away from myself and putting them somewhere else? How much for an '06 Mustang? I would start at $299 for all the sides and the rear, and $450 with the windshield. Let's see if we can get dingle dang software. Oh, now it connected. Okay, cool. We got TikTok back. Any recommendations of how many hours I should practice? Practice as much as you can. It's very much a skill set that takes time and patience to learn. As many hours as it takes to get good is the answer. I don't know, you could get it inside a week. It could take you a month. I have no idea. Everybody that took the class learned how to shrink in, honestly, 2 days of practice. But that's like focused training practice where we point out what's wrong and we try and correct it. I got 2. I could use that one. There we go. Is it common to have a little undercut? Recently I got mine done. 3 of them have a line that you can see through to the outside. No, that's bad. What kind of vehicle? I'll tell you if it's extra bad from just being an easy car to do. People want to beat us up on price and whatnot. It's very much a skilled trade. Some people are good, some people are not good. And you have everybody that makes it sound like they are good. I'm legally blind and I do this for a living. Congratulations. I don't see any specs in my work because I can't. Yeah.
They make this in the green light.
I saw it. I figured they went up in price, but they're still the same price.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a green one. Is the Expel a good tint? I hope so. They sure charge a lot for it. I saw somebody get a quote this morning for like $900 in XR. That wasn't even XR Plus.
These are the easy part of windows.
Yes, this whole car is.
It's like a Malibu.
Yeah.
It's a nice Malibu.
I could do a lot of these.
It's like the F-150 of cars.
The seals are a little tighter on the doors, but very straightforward. I like this one. Thoughts on doing a back window on a Charger or a Challenger? I hated tinting those. Yeah, it's one of the harder, just regular cars to tint. Leave some extra film on the top and the bottom to full shrink. Just take your time. It's hard to give an exact tip on what would make that easier because it's just like a bubbly back window. I had so many of those. Metro Detroit, Chargers, Big Three. Have you done a 24 Audi A6? No, not a 24. I've definitely tinted some Audi A6. Anything in the Audi lineups is kind of a pain. Just tight seals on everything. So cut your patterns like with very tight tolerances. Like you just don't want to tuck much film into the seals because they don't give you much room. Oh, how much pressure? 5 pounds. Exactly, 5 pounds of pressure. GMC trucks. Fairly straightforward.
Easiest car to tint? This one. Almost. Sound like
If I had to make a list of easy trucks to tint, GMC would definitely be near the top.
like the open frame Subaru Imprezas are pretty easy.
Thinking about tinting my Honda Fit. I have a live stream a Honda Fit for sure. This is when I was in the old garage. A lot of windows on that thing, and they're tall. It's a small car with really big windows, bigger than this, like bigger windows than this. Kind of crazy. I'm getting a little stuck. There we go. Any idea on cost? This one was $550. Tack that in place. Swipe the sides. Did you teach yourself? No. No, I got into window tinting by like sheer luck. And it wasn't something I was looking to seek out. So my dad owned an auto accessories company called Ameristar. And they had one guy that was just a whirlwind of window tint. He would do like 8 full cars in a day. I'm not exaggerating. And then one day he quit and went to work for the competition. And his, my dad's business partner's son had learned how to tint. And so they paid him to teach me over the course of like a summer. So I didn't even touch tint when I was learning for like the first week and a half. He's just like, just watch me. It's like, okay. But it was just, there was an available opportunity. I wanted to go to school for other stuff. I went for aviation mechanics at the same time I was kind of learning how to tint. And I just kept tinting. Anything to know about tinting doors on a Tacoma? Nothing specific. The top corners curve quite a bit on the doors. That's about it. What happened to your dad's company? It went bankrupt, and he created a new one called Auto Tint City. And that one is still around in Dearborn Heights. Right near where they're handing out records amounts of window tint tickets right now. Yay! Yay for business problems. Yeah, like literally seeing news articles how they're bragging about how many tickets that they've written in the city of Dearborn. Oh boy. That's great. Unable to verify. Hang on. Puzzle piece right there. I've tinted 6 times now, and this time I had very few cuts on the trim. Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's good news. Less cuts on the trim are ideal. They do happen though. What do you put on the side of the window you peeled off? You put on the side of the window where you peeled. Oh, the tape? That is a special tape that I just use to try and keep any dirt out of my windows. You know, I should probably just pull that off. So if we're gonna hand cut this one, I'm gonna glass aid it, dryer sheet it, and then I'm gonna use a 36-inch roll, take the excess from that, and use it for my quarter windows. So, since it's gonna be a minute before I get that back, let's go ahead and take this off. Let's grab this blade, save that for a rainy day. It's a clean peel board. Thank you. I appreciate that. I get a lot of compliments on that one. I felt like I was being a crazy person. I was like, I wonder if this is going to work. But I'm super happy with it. Does a 36-inch roll cover truck windshields? Yes. In the vast majority of cases, it does. F-150s, Rams, Silverados. Basically any SUV. 40-inch rolls are really, like, you got a Ford Edge, a Focus, believe it or not, and then transit vans. Transit vans, caravans, carnivals. Actually, no, carnival would be fine. Town and country is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, get a 36, save a little bit of money. I typically order just strictly 36s and 24s. It's not, 24s are nice because you're going to be able to cover your front doors on trucks and SUVs. They're going to need a little bit taller than a 20-inch roll. So 36 is really going to be great for splitting in half and tinting cars or covering back windows and windshields. Very few situations where you absolutely need a 40. Yeah, no scratchies. So we take glass aid, we line the window. So we put the glass aid right here on the edge. So even this could have, oh wow, it probably could have been much closer there. But I got a lot of leniency on a Cadillac, like for sure. Look at how much space I got there. So I'm not worried about that. But the idea is that you line it up on the edge of the dots, and it's a 1/4 inch wide. So anywhere I cut on this tape line, I'm gonna cover my window and have a little bit of play. But if I wanted to be a little extra precise, I would have slowed down. But since it's a CT4, better than Audi, exactly. If this was an Audi, would take my time with that. Since it's not an Audi, we're gonna go a little faster. Not that the job's gonna turn out worse, just for precision on like your cuts. Like you don't need to worry about being super close to the edge because you have that much room to work with. Same thing for the windshield. So we'll prep this windshield too as well. Because we got all the doors done. We're gonna do the quarters. So while that back glass is drying, we might as well be doing other stuff. So we're gonna spray, squeegee, rag, scrub pad. Patty's third brake lights are a pain. Yes, definitely. 100% remove them every time. Then they're less of a pain. Still a pain to remove. I accidentally broke one in front of a customer. That was not a fun day. It's one thing to break one, but it's another thing to literally like have a customer pop in the back. We just pulled it in, so it was cold, and then it cracked. But it cracked right in front of them. We were talking about how nice the car was. And then we literally couldn't get one for like 2 months because supply chain issues. This was like 3 years ago. Nice. Okay, so now we're gonna line this one. This is my first time watching the process. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate that because most people do not understand what it takes to do a really good job. So, there's a lot of tedious little steps. I wish it was simple, but it's not. Oh, it's hard to see that. Why they gotta do that? Let me get a light. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. We'll just put it here. It's close enough. There we go. We got a factory tinted shade up here. Makes it really hard to see where the edge is. So when we're lining this, where'd you get that light? That's a Harbor Freight light. They come in colors now. I just learned that yesterday. I have all black ones. They got some lime green ones. Boy, I need an excuse to go buy some lights. But yeah, these are great. They are super, oh wow, super bright. Really compact, USB-C chargeable. As far as stick lights, this one's the best that I've ever used. I haven't seen new ones in the past year or so take that with a grain of salt. There might be better ones out there now, but oh my God, they're so nice. They were $40 2 or 3 years ago when I first bought them, and believe it or not, they're still $40. Inflation proof. Or their margins were just so good to begin with that they didn't need to change. Around this corner, around this corner. How do you prevent tint from flying around the shop? We don't have breezes. and we're not that crazy. Oh, lint. Sorry, I couldn't see that. Lint, not tint. That makes more sense. It always is flying around the shop. That part is true. So one thing is to think about your exposure time. So you can keep direct airflow down to a minimum. So if you have fans, don't point them at where you're working. But, you know, we got garage doors. People are moving around. We have a heater blowing. Like, there's definitely stuff that is blowing around the air. But just because it's blowing around the air doesn't mean that it's really a lot or that it's going to get into your work. So when I was mobile, I tinted at a glass shop, and they would leave the garage door open all day in the summer. But the thing is, I wouldn't feel a cross breeze. So that was helpful. And also, they would use air guns from time to time, but we would communicate. So if they were going to use an air gun, they would check with me first, or I would just give them a heads up, like, hey, I got a car that I'm going to peel this window, and just hang off for a second. Because they can, like, there could be dust and lint accumulating on all the patterns that I have sitting on the car. It doesn't matter. All I care about is the 30 seconds where I peel the window and put it on the inside. That's the only exposure time that you really have. So pay attention to that. But there's still will be a miscellaneous little hair or something that'll happen every once in a while. Can't prevent it entirely. Does it matter what dryer sheet you use? Yes. And I can't guarantee you what works great for every film, but most people settle on Snuggle. Works really, really good. There's guys that don't use them. They use tri-shrink prep. They'll use soap bars. So, like, there's a bunch of stuff that can work. I just find with GeoShield films, Snuggle is the most consistent and the easiest to, like, learn and practice with. I saw the windshield and some water bubbles got trapped. It's cold outside. How long do we think? I have no idea how long, because if it's a bigger water pocket, it could take much longer than you might think. But if they're really small, generally inside of a week, 2 weeks max. My personal, just like, guideline for customers is, like, if you have a water pocket in your window that I know is going to dry out, but it hangs around there for, like, you know, if it's really cold outside and you call me, it's like, well, just give it a little bit more time. But if it bugs you after, like, another, like, 3 or 4 days, let me know and I'll take care of it, is basically what I'll say. Like, up to a week. But if it's, like, you know, normal temperatures, 2 or 3 days. What's the best ceramic tint on the market for heat blocking? I think this stuff right here. This is Apex dual layer ceramic. Apex Ultra. So it's literally 2 layers of ceramic in one film. Blocks out a ton of heat. You sound sick. I am. We just had a window tint class, and I caught something, but my voice is actually, believe it or not, this is a little better than what it was. I had literally no voice on, like, the second day of class, so hopefully this live stream won't completely kill it. Are you on the highest temp? Yes. Yeah, shrinking is all about, like, you can use as much heat as you can, but you can control it with your speed and your distance. So I don't see necessarily a reason to use any other speed, even though you could use medium. But put a heat gun on high and put your hand here And so if it's like, what, 8 to 10 inches away, it starts to get hot. But if I do this, it's just warm. If I get it really close and move it really fast, I'm still not burning myself, but I can feel that heat. So it's just learning where to balance it. Shrinking is all about looking for patterns. So we anchor it in the center, we anchor it on the side. We have some loose material here. This should have been the class car. Everybody would have a lot of confidence super quick. These back windows are super flat. Compared to the Tesla, oh yeah. Yeah, these are a cakewalk. Same thing for the windshield.
Going faster, looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like not much to shrink on here.
And that's Apex too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. And you could do the windshield. Like you'd have no problem shrinking both of them. Cadillac, CT4 actually. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that unless I knew. I wish I got these all the time though. This car is awesome to tint. Thoughts on on people using a brush. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I was pointing that out, and it took me a long time to, I didn't really realize that until this year. I use one squeegee for basically everything. Sometimes you'll catch me using 2, and that other one, I'll grab it. It's called the Pink Clean. I think the brush is probably a better way of doing the exact same thing. Well, here it is. This guy right here. So this is a really soft squeegee blade, and it's marketed as a cleaning squeegee. So I'm fine with using this one for both. But what I didn't realize is it helps to have a softer squeegee to kind of evenly distribute and push out bubbles before you go to hard squeegee it. But it's more of a beginner type of thing. There's certain windows that are really curved, and if you've got extra slip solution in your bottle, what you're trying to do is you're trying to fan out the film before you squeegee it. Because if you just take a harder squeegee, what'll happen is you can bump the film out of place. Because you have to put more pressure with a harder squeegee to even get it to flex to the window. So a soft brush allows you to do the exact same thing, just lightly push out all the bubbles, fan out the film without really disturbing the film, and then you can push a harder squeegee. The idea is super cool. So it makes a little bit, to me, it makes a little bit more sense from doing all the classes and teaching people and stuff. Guys with a few years of experience at least might see that and just go I don't really see the point of that. There we go. What's the light for? Just so I can definitely see it. This is 20%, so you can usually see it well enough, but I still like to sometimes shine a light through the tint so I can definitely see this line. On 5%, I'm 100% using a light. How much is your class? Go to 313tint.com and you'll see more details there. Woo! Just bought one of those icon lights last night. Nice. Those things are with a smiley face. Very bright. LED lights, like 10, 15 years ago, LED lights weren't much of a thing because they were still so like new and they weren't near as bright. So you would see like fluorescent tube lights and stuff. But when LED lights started becoming a thing, I would spend like $150 on like a nice stick light. And it was like half the brightness of this. I'm always on the lookout for like a compact stick light that just like blinds me when I go to use it. Have you seen the new red icon light that's like $60? No, but it sounds like I should. I always forget about Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's one of those stores that I don't remember until I drive past it, and I want to spend way too much time there. Have you ever vinyl wrapped a car? I've done just a little bit of graphic work, but not full wraps, no. Do you guys have... Excuse me. Oh, yeah, there's my sickness. Do you guys have... Oh, my God. Did we really forget the door? And we're already doing the back window? What is wrong with us? Why didn't you guys tell me? How did I do that? I could have sworn I installed it. All right, let's go install that one. Are you putting window tint on the outside? No, it's going on the inside. But the guy's question about different colored films, I wish it was more of a thing, but it's just not. There are lots of colors that you can buy, but I have no way of validating how long those colors are going to last. And the other thing is, they stand out a lot. So, like vinyl wraps, you can wrap your car in any color that you want. And you can do like reflective stuff and like go crazy. So there's a ton of options. For window films, the majority of people just want black. And so all the other chameleon films and stuff like that just have very little support. And I've seen a lot of them just fail. So it's not like they're cheap, and it just, who knows how long it's going to last. And then you may just get a ticket for it. So I don't think they're ever going to be like super well supported. Do you guys sell Lumar? No. No, we use GeoShield films. I use a film that I feel is better than Lumar, but... We're doing Apex. This is a dual layer ceramic. This is like double tinting your car. Not in darkness, but in heat rejection. What's the legal limit? For Michigan, it's legal if you have a doctor's note. Otherwise, top 4 inches of the front doors, top 4 inches of the windshield. And then you can go as dark as you want on the rear. I love the attention to detail. Thank you. Can I like screenshot that and send that comment to people that ask us about how much it is and then just hang up the phone when they hear the price? Can you do chop shops in Michigan? Sure. That's what we do. That's what we do on the side. That's in the other garage. What does the doctor's note allow? Doctor's note doesn't specify. It's just a like loose. If you have a doctor's note permitting or saying for a medical reason that you need window tint, then you can have it. And does not specify shade restrictions, which is kind of wild. I'm sure somebody could pull you over and loosely interpret that rule as if it seems like an obstruction of your vision, they could give you a ticket. But you can actually get it as a restriction on your license, but then the rules are flipped. If you get it as a restriction on your license and go through all the hassle of actually proving that you need it, then if you get caught driving without window tint, you can get a ticket. That one surprised me. Imagine getting a ticket for not having window tint. What else do you do? So we do window tint classes. We have a store over there. Right now, one of the students from the automotive class is over there. Well, he's up front now, but they're over there practicing architectural. Can you show the shop? Yeah, for sure. Let me get some of this car done and then we can. How early do you recommend being at your class? Just probably about like 20, 30 minutes before the class. We're still like, it starts at 9, but 9 is still kind of feels early for us. So we try and have everything ready to go at 9, but inevitably there'll be some people lagging behind, and we try and all start together, so like 15, 20 minutes before 9 is totally fine. It's a very loose class. So like we have things that we focus and practice on, but in terms of like, hey, I'm doing really good at cutting. It's like, all right, let's get you to installing. Or like, hey, I already know how to do doors. Perfect, let's focus on back windows. When you're cutting the film on the back glass, do you cut on the white tape? Yes. And we have that for these right now. So if you use light pressure and a sharp stainless blade, you shouldn't have any issues. Although any blade with any pressure can still hurt the window because all glass is not the same, just like all tint is not the same. But you never know what's going to scratch it until you've like already done it. So it's helpful to do things that just take away that risk. I'll be lagging behind. I can't get out of bed. Me too. The only thing that keeps me on time is like, oh shit, people are waiting. That, like, no kidding, that actually gave me some structure with getting here at any time. Was like, oh, if I have an appointment, I actually have to be there, and I have to be there like 30 minutes before they are. Because there's people that'll be here 15, 20, 30 minutes before an appointment, like before we open. And so if you get here and you open, like we open at 10, and if our first appointment's at 10, there's people that are already like waiting outside. And I don't want to like open the door and turn everything on before they're even like at the door. I want all that done. Okay, so we're going to trim this out. Do you guys hand cut everything? No. I like hand cutting door windows, especially. Back windows and quarters matter much less because you have tolerances like the dot borders, so you can tuck behind those. So the patterns could be a little slim, they could be a little extra wide, doesn't matter. But on doors, it's really about just making sure your patterns are wide enough and your top edge is nice and clean and lined up. And so plotters, it just varies. Some patterns are really good, some are really bad. But I'll use a plotter plenty. But especially when we have time to focus on a car and learn on stream and stuff, I'll just take my time with it. I should just cut out the other pattern. Oh, I'll do it from the template. Why don't you just print the tint instead of cutting with a blade? 4, insert all the reasons I just said. You can go to tint shops, and the tint is already... Really? That's a thing? Like, is it like that? I didn't know. That's news to me. What about that? Can you do it? How about that? Can you do it on that one? You know what's funny about that, though, is you absolutely can cut it ahead of time and save yourself time on appointments. But customer comes in, you already have their car cut out, and what if they want to upgrade? What if they change their mind on shades? So it's never a perfect idea unless they're already committed to buying your best film. And you know for sure they're getting these shades. It's not a great idea to always have them pre-cut, strictly because people change their mind and people are people. Why don't online tinters ever show shrinking? Why aren't you on time to the shrinking? We showed it on the doors. We showed it on the back window. We're going to show it on the windshield. Homie answered Homie's question and skipped right over mine. Ah, damn it. I did that purposely. What's your question? I don't know. I don't purposefully skip over anybody's questions. There are a lot of questions. But if I don't answer something, feel free to type it again. Ask again. You won't get banned. But yeah, this is like an actual job. Don't forget to show the store. I will try and remember to do that. Actually, after that quarter or now or any time around now would probably be a good time to do it. So that works. I was happy with that. Lines up very nice. All my edges are covered. Turned out clean. Were you affected by the water main break? No. I didn't even really realize that happened. Somebody made a comment. And I didn't realize, like, there was one that was so bad in the Detroit area. So we're Sterling Heights. We're still like 30, 40 minutes. No, really like just 30 minutes away from like downtown Detroit. So it's like you can hop on the freeway and get there pretty quick, but It's not, we're more like industrial slash suburbs, so we're not near that kind of stuff. There's certain areas that are just not as well built as others. When you get into Detroit stuff, that kind of stuff can happen. There are areas over in the east direction that were definitely flooding well before this happened. But yeah, water main breaking in winter, that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna cut this edge first. It's what I should have done on the other one though. Let's cut that one. Wow, we only got through half that ceramic there. There we go. That's better. Safety cutter. And then we're gonna bring this down just a tad. Tape. I forgot the tape. I don't think I got a Sharpie on me either. What do we do? Should we tape it? We talk so much about it, we should probably do that. Why are you hand cutting a quarter window with a Graphtec sitting there? Because I like torture. You can tell a lot about a business by how clean their shop is and the work area. Guess a clean work for your very. Thank you. I had a hard time reading there, but yes. Yes, I love having a really nice, clean shop. I have a hard time actually cleaning up after myself, but I'm very picky about the work that I do. 'Cause it can always be done better. There we go. That's better. But yeah, it's just a change of pace. We sometimes use the Graphtec, and sometimes we don't. It would make these quarter windows faster and easier, and they would turn out great. But not everybody in chat has a Graphtec, so we're showing, if I were to hand cut this is what it would be like. So what I'll say too on quarter windows like this, I won't always use, I know, I won't always use Glass Aid. I will sometimes just cut straight on the window. What the heck? Because for some quarter windows, you need to be really precise. And so I would rather be careful and just get a really precise cut and do a quarter window one time than try and compensate for like protecting it. And it's like, if you're careful, you're generally fine. But we had a fun 1-star review from the last stream because somebody didn't see me cover absolutely every door panel every time I went to tint it. And they felt heckled. It's still funny to me. All right, so now our quarter window is ready to install. What's your favorite plotter software? Core, by like a long shot. So this right here. Look, they even have day mode and night mode. Some people might understand day mode a little bit better. Let the heckling begin. Yeah, this software is awesome. Is this why it really costs more to tint coupes? I don't charge more to tint coupes. A lot of places charge less to tint coupes. But it depends on what car you have, really. There's so many cars that fall within like some type of average. So if it's not an exceptionally difficult car, then we don't charge you more to do it. You could have a couple extra windows and it'll be the same price, but they all kind of average out to be a very similar amount of time. Can you name the state where most car tinting work is? California, Texas, or Florida. It's also the most saturated, and you have the opposite problem where you have so much competition, prices are much cheaper, and it's harder to get certain business. So it can be tough to run a tint business anywhere. Oh, Arizona for sure. Yep, Arizona's huge. But I think California's the biggest, and I know like in oh wow, that was the first text alert that I had. I think there was a super chat or something. I don't know. I gotta see. It's either TikTok or YouTube. It would have been. No, actually, I don't know. I'll check. Looks good. Oh, except that. What is that? I don't like that. See that? Not bad. They're a little big, but we'll get close. Right there. Tip of the squeegee right here. There's something. There's something there. To get your head really close to it. Depends on the day. Most people, they'd be fine with that. And to be honest, we're probably not going to get heckled for that either. But I think there's just some schmutz or something that got sprayed in there. They got like a bigger white spot there that I don't like. And it's a quarter window, so it's not going to take long to redo. What are your thoughts on Expel? They have a good brand.
I made you a plate over there, Matt.
Thank you.
There's,
Ooh. Appreciate it. Let's see if we have enough on this piece to do it. And then I can have a bite of chicken. Ooh, let's make sure we're cutting this out the right way. Yes. Okay. I want to line this edge up here. We'll start with the side edge as the flat edge. The bottom edge can be tucked a little bit so that perfectly straight doesn't matter as much. And then we're just going to outline this. I should have just done this with the other one. I even said it, but I forgot, and I just did Glass Aid. But if I kept the liner, I could have just used the template. And we're going to round this. We're going to round that. And then take the point off of this. All right. Now we got try number 2. See, I would just tint it and wipe it off. But then I'm going to get heckled and I'm going to get a 1-star review. I work in Winnipeg, minus 40. Will the tint stick good? I don't know. I've never tried. Tint will still somehow dry out. But, I mean, I don't think anything's drying out at that temperature, but I've never had to tint in there. Oh, we had a lot of slack on that. Good. I tucked further into that seal than I thought. My boyfriend tints and was told to go light on water so it dries faster before. I don't really think it's gonna make it dry faster because you're still gonna have like a even sheet of water. But less water is good because you have car electronics. So it's definitely not bad advice at all. All right, let's check it out. Did we redeem ourselves? Is this acceptable? Looks good to me. Better. Hard squeegee helps. Post heating helps. Yes. Yeah, because really, like any hard squeegee passes for sure. 'Cause whether you use a lot of water or not, I bet you just got the same amount of water in the window because you need like a nice even layer to like shift it around and stuff. Let me make sure. Are my headphones still connected? Why can't I hear anything? Does it just break after a while? Is that what happens? God, that's so annoying. Yeah, let me close this and try and reopen it. And then we'll see. Look, I got chicken tenders. Okay, so we have a back window to tint. It's shrunk, it's ready to go. And then after, we got a windshield that we have to tint. So let's grab a couple towels. Where's all my other, oh, they're just hanging here. Duh. Let's grab these. I like these better. That's probably why they were hanging there. Do you use pre-cut tint? Sometimes. I have the pre-cut tint machine. So sometimes we use it and sometimes we don't use it. Just depends on my mood. Helps to use it to save some time on certain windows, and then I like hand cutting too. Okay. TikTok is connected. We'll see. Does dark tint go over factory tint? Yes.
I have another new one in my.
Oh, it does work. Oh, damn you. Do we leave them? I'm trying to think of. I usually had keys with me, and those have a little push pin on it. Or like a little pin that I can use to release headrests. But that one has it. Now we'll be fine. We'll just work around it. Do you like tinting a Corvette rear glass? Yeah, the C7s. C7s all day long. How fast did you do this car? Not as fast as if I wasn't streaming. I don't know. We can find out. YouTube, we've been streaming for 2 hours so far. So 2 hours to get to this point right now. Probably got another like 30 minutes. Which car / Mercedes have computers in the doors? All of them? I mean, every car has computers in the doors. There's no way around it. Most of them you don't have any issues, and that's, I think, what your average person doesn't really understand. A 2025 Q6 e-tron. Ooh, that sounds like we should charge more on it, but we'll see what the bot says. Bot will probably give them normal pricing. Which is fair. It's fair. Not exactly as quick of a car as this one will be. That's for dang sure. I really don't have the most amount of space here, do I? I got a good amount of space. Sorry, we gotta try and figure out how to do this. Don't you love the view of that towel? Probably gonna have to like have somebody hold the camera for this one. Because it's a little hard to see. A little bit. Okay. Got that. And we're gonna flush this. Alright, let's carry this in. On the back seats, tinters very often tear the seats, hitting with their knees. I don't think that would be often at all. I mean, I put towels down, but I have yet to ever see a picture in my group of a tinter ever hurting a seat from jumping in it. And there's like 100,000 people in the group, so I would have thought I'd seen one. I see water damage, I see glass issues, I see lots of stuff. I haven't seen that one though. What tint shop are they going to? I don't know. Maybe something gothic. We got some spiky knee pads or something. But other than climbing on the seat, how else can we get it? I would like an answer for that. Cause I don't got one. We will rappel down from the ceiling, and with a harness, we will hoist ourselves. Or we'll just pull the back window out. I don't know. We'll put some towels down and tint it. We gotta be careful. I'm gonna get heckled. Somebody's gonna feel heckled, and we're gonna get a 1-star review again. All right, that looks good. Can I prop this up somewhere? Can I like leave this up here? Just for like a minute? I'm feeling a little heckled. Damn it. We don't want that. We don't want heckled. You don't take out the rear brake light? No, not on this. It's got a perfect cutout around it. So I don't see a reason to tint behind it. Unless it was like a special request. So if I have a brake light that doesn't have any type of natural cutout, then I'm going to tint behind it. But if it's got a cover like this with a border, then we can go over it. Or we can go around it. But that's more that nobody's asked. So like I've never delivered a car like that and they go like, oh, why didn't you do the brake light? So if it was a, oh, hey, why didn't you do the brake light? I'd be like, oh, I guess we could. I work for a tint shop named Danny's Window Tint. I'm wondering what tools make it easier. Ooh, a lot. I mean, any good squeegee. So this is a Libman shower squeegee. That makes this part easier because it's wide and it curves to the glass pretty well. This is a triad scrub pad. Give it a quick scrub down. This is a microfiber rag. I don't know, I'll just kind of go through it as tools come up. Couple little spots. Is bro sick? Yes. Yep. I lost my voice. It's slowly coming back. And I'm trying to strain the hell out of it during the live stream. When do you use your scrub pads? Honestly, on the outside. I hardly ever use scrub pads on the inside. I use razors instead of scrub pads. I like them better. Scrub pads, don't get me wrong, they're helpful and they have their place. But a scrub pad to me makes way less sense than just using blades. So I can take a blade and scrape a window and I can feel if there's anything stuck to that glass. With a scrub pad, if there's some glue that I just don't see, scrub pad isn't necessarily going to scrape it off. Scrub pad's just going to like glide over it. And so when you're scrubbing, you see suds, so you feel like you're cleaning the glass really thoroughly. But a razor blade, I promise you, is going to do a more thorough job. Both of them are still good. Razor blades are just a little better. Because if I ever have something left behind, I'm going to remove it with a razor blade anyways. So like, why wouldn't I just start with a razor blade from the beginning? What tool do you use for bottom to finish it just now? So I grabbed this one. This is the Stroke Doctor. What I usually have is a side swipe, but this was here, so I grabbed it first. They're very similar. This just has a better handle. So both of them are good. All right, so why don't we ever show shrinking on stream? We do, we always do, every live stream. So, because we have to shrink that. My stroke doctor, he just, I'm gonna have a bite of chicken. This chicken is really good. Very good. Yeah, stroke doctor. He just calmly says, like everybody knows what that is. Who said it's break time? Can't I please have a break? Chicken ASMR. What obstacle did you have to overcome when starting Tint? Learning how to do it. Everything. Shrinking, installing. I wasn't selling because I was at a shop already. That's how I got my start. I don't think I would have been in it any other way, though. I didn't it's just happenstance. I didn't seek out window tinting. It just fell into my life. And it just happened to be a decent career. I ended up doing a lot more than just tinting with it. Who makes those cabinets? Alibaba. Actually, probably. They're new age cabinets. They're like the cheapest bang for your buck cabinets out there. Like, they're not. This isn't their cheapest line, but if you're searching for just like sheer volume of cabinets, I think you get the most cabinet for your money from new age. So I can almost guarantee they were not made in the U.S. Let's put that here, and then we won't do that. Do you see yourself anything else, like doing anything else? Yeah, we more recently got into software. I think we're either shy or almost shy, and I will be very sad if that's the case. See this little tear? Ooh, that's enough. That's enough to leave a gap if the other side's not covered enough. Oh, it just fits. Ooh, we almost had to redo. Yeah, window tint's like a really weird application for me. Like, I grew up as like a big tech nerd. But it's been a really cool fit. Like, window tint is just it's a cool field because it's like a visually appealing skill. It is a skill. It's still got good margins. It is still, out of all the auto accessories, like the most popular thing. It's just like a really unique category. And there's a lot of people that just, I don't know. They don't try and push things forward. So things have been this way for a long time. And so slowly but surely you see window tint catch up to lots of other spaces and industries. So like window tinting for the longest time was just done in dirty garages as like a mechanical skill. And then now you're starting to see like boutique looking stores. But this is very much inspired by like other fields, which is cool to see it as a thing in window tinting. How much have you invested in your shop? Ooh, it's hard to say at this point. A lot. Have you ever tried Temu tint? No, but I feel like I should just for a video. It's almost the same as doing like my Walmart tint videos and Amazon tint videos. People are always looking for how cheap can I buy tint for. What's the name of the light that you use? It was an Icon light from Harbor Freight. I should make a Temu tint video. Yeah. I haven't made one of those types of videos in a long time. I played super hard into it for a little bit. And there's still those videos are the ones that kind of went on to do the best. But it's hard to put that kind of time into a video now because you have no idea how it's going to do. And people don't necessarily learn as much. It's just like purely for entertainment. So they're fun, but they just take time. What setting's the heat gun at? High. See when it does that? It just like pulled off the glass like that. Rather than shrinking it more, I want to make sure that that's locked down before I continue anymore. It just loosened up from the tension. So when it did one of those guys, lock that back down. It would be less likely to do that if I just carted it down a little bit at a time before shrinking so far. Yeah. Yeah, getting like a nice anchor point in there. So 45-degree angle up towards where we're shrinking. I'm just running my heat gun at a distance where I know it's going to shrink a fair amount, and then I'm going to watch what it does. So anywhere that's like this, see, they're not running super tight across the windshield. A little softer. That's plenty. They're pulled sideways. So that's plenty. And then this kind of swoops here. So I'm going to lift this. Stretch this out. Oops, I got a finger there. So let's lift this back up. Card that down. We got a bigger finger here, so let's shrink that. You see, those sideways pockets in the top corners really start to swoop like this. So those are always going to go out that way. So a little bit more right here. A little bit more right here. Get this guy, that. It's hard to miss that one. And then everything's all shrunk. And now we're going to trim it out. I know that song. I know that song very well. My son has listened to that song a million times. And now that kind of stuff plays for my daughter. Super simple songs. Sometimes it gets a little hard to see with a phone in the way. But it allows everybody else to see really well, so. Were you laying the whole tape compared to the dots on the windshield? So the tape gets put right outside the dots. So the inside edge of the tape is on the very, like, as soon as the glass goes to solid black. Have you thought about getting the meta glasses? Yeah, I've had them. I just saw they had an update so you could record for 3 minutes. That's helpful. Because they were only like 1-minute video clips. I couldn't do anything. I think they're really nice for clips. Battery life could be better. Because ideally, I'd like them just to last through an entire day. Like an entire like work day. So I could just maybe like leave them here. I would have to get prescription lenses though. So I made my own with like a Insta360 instead. So I have a pair of glasses right here, and I screwed a metal bracket. And then so if I want to make that type of a video, I either use a GoPro or this is a little bit more flexible, and I can just stick this here. So I like this because I can just like leave it in my pocket if I wanted to. All right, let's peel the tape. What's the door panel cover? Panel guard. Yeah, the Insta360 Go 3S or something like that. That's the newest one. Pretty decent quality. Lets you record in vertical and horizontal at the same time. And you can pick if you want to do vertical or horizontal. So like it's got a lot more flexibility on what you can do with it. But Meta glasses are super cool. It's just really hard because like I think it's like a 4-hour battery life, and then you pair them to your phone. So if somebody calls, it like stops the record. There's just a few things. The minute-long video that killed it for me, but since now it's like 3-minute videos, that's a lot more compelling. Because I tried to record some clips. I tried to stuff what I had to say inside of a minute, and it's like I couldn't do anything in under a minute. So it needed to all be then edited together. And it's like I'd rather just record like a 10-minute video and cut it down than try and record a bunch of like small clips like that. Is that Pro Classic? No, this is Apex. Is it free shipping to Miami? Yeah, tools over $100 and window film over $500. I'm having trouble shrinking my tint. It keeps getting creased. If it's getting creased, you need to shrink it more. What percent is that? 50. So we're doing 20% on the doors and 50 on the shield. It's just gonna look a little light while it's in here. As soon as we get it pulled out, it's gonna look nice. I'm gonna have another ASMR bite of chicken. Excuse me. What do you think about UCA? I know nothing about them. There's a... See, the thing is, in window film, there's a lot of white label brands, and I just don't know enough about them. It's really easy just to come up with like any name. So you have an amazing film, give a cheaper price on film, and get a bunch of tinners to just go, oh, that's awesome, because all they see is a price tag, and they take somebody's word for it. I have no fucking clue. So if I don't know much about a film, I'm just generally not going to stay away, and I have no reason to switch. So if GeoShield ever lets me down with like a massive film failure or some type of terrible policy, then I'll look into other options. But at this point, I wouldn't head in that direction. I use GeoShield Pro Classic 50%, but the stuff is hard to shrink. It's just higher shrinking. I promise you, GeoShield has one of the easiest shrinking films, but learning how to shrink is difficult. I used Pro Classic for a long time. Pro Classic is an awesome film and a super straightforward shrinking film. So it's just learning how to shrink. Just like an artist could take some mediocre paint and make a hell of a painting. But I could take some really expensive paint and it still look like shit. Ooh, that went in nice. So an important thing, make sure your towels are laid down flat. And then if you have space, you can put a rope in there. But I'll do the towel first. And then if I have room, I'll add the rope. But you can see how the rope is helping keep that towel flat, so I still got space. Pulling soak rope out wouldn't raise the tint. It's always a possibility. But you just got to be careful. And I can show you a little trick to try and keep that down. Ooh, I was going to get a razor blade, but I'm going to get a chicken bite instead. Do people get their sunroofs tinted? Not often. At least for me. But yeah, people definitely do. There's always a weird rumor that I get annoyed at. People will say like, "Oh, I heard that it'll break your sunroof." But it never happens. But somehow that rumor perpetuates, so oh, I should have just left that pulled back. That was already pulled back. If anything, I just fixed it. Put it back in. Yeah, I like this towel. They had this like space theme for a little bit. How much did it cost you to create such a project? What do you mean? Like the shop? Like how expensive was everything? Okay, so for this part, I got a heads up display kind of in my way, so I'm gonna grab something else for that. This section's easy to get to though. So we're gonna hop over to that side, razor blades over there. I'm just gonna use like a bulldozer or a side swipe or something to get down there. I need to learn how to do taillights. That is a skill that I do not have. I've done it, but only a couple times. It's cool though. Been watching your videos, about to try my second car, 24 Camry. Nice. It's pretty straightforward. We need taillight tint club. Oh, that's the one I was gonna mention. Like UCA, Tint Club, Scorpion. Like there's a bunch of them. Scorpion's a little bit more established. But inevitably, it seems like every year and a half, there's another miscellaneous brand that pops up that everybody gets hyped about. So it's like I have a really big Facebook group, and we would occasionally get accused of being like a Geo Shield promotion group. And it's like, well, it's the film I use, so you know, that'll happen. But I'm not intentionally pushing it any extra. I use it. I have to use something in my videos. So that's what I'm using, but it's nothing more than what I've always done. I just like the films, and this is what I use. And then high tech came along. People got hyped up about high tech. Lexan, people got hyped up about that. Now it's a little bit of Tint Club. And like, that's cool. But every like year and a half, it's like, ooh, shiny, new, cheap brand. Or not even cheap. I don't mean that. It's just, I don't know, something happens. But same trend is just little research, look at a price, hop on board. It's hard to get tint off your back window. Need to get it done. It is difficult. Steamers help. Steamers are your best friend for film removal. You also do PPF and wrap. No. Would like to do PPF. Just a lot to get started. All right, so we are peeling this. We go near halfway. But for all these mirror cutouts and camera cutouts, I've been stopping short. So I'll get to this corner and I'll stop short here in the middle. I really have a problem with German cars. Yeah, everybody's got a problem with German cars. The hose you're using, is it just for water or is it soap infused? Yeah, there's tint slip in this spray tank. And so that spray tank is over there. I also heard you say 5 PSI. Oh, no. That was something different. So pressure in the keg is 90. Anywhere from like 60. 60 and up is good. Why did you wipe the film before you spray? Main reason is the edges. Dryer sheet and stuff on the edges. So just kind of wipe off the whole thing and kind of scrub down the edges. Is the chrome tint still dark at night? Chrome tint works from light. It still is harder to see, but if you've got like street lights and stuff shining on it, it'll be harder to see in. If you don't have that kind of stuff, it just depends on what the actual VLT is. So I did like a gold chrome tint. Super easy to see through. It was 15%, and it looks darker than 15% to see in because of that reflectiveness. But if there's, like I said, if there's no street lights, it's gonna be harder to get that effect. So that's kind of how it works. I need to learn reverse roll. Cool. Well, we're at the peeling part. So what we need to do now is we loosened up the entire liner, and we're going to roll the whole thing up like a poster. We get to this point, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab that liner and just hold it in place, and it sticks to the roll. And then when we unroll it, now I have peeled tint. And then we're gonna spray it. Is chrome tint expensive? No, you can find it all over the place. You can buy like chrome architectural film and put that on a car, and you can have a chrome tinted car with a good film. I did that on the sunroof of the Tesla. It keeps my roof 40 degrees cooler. This is 50% Apex. So this is a dual layer ceramic film. 2 layers of ceramic in one film. Is Rock Rose worth buying? It's just another Lexan. I don't know. Another super cheap whatever brand. Here's the thing. It's saving pennies in the beginning in the hopes that it doesn't bite you in the butt later on. And I just don't feel comfortable at this point trying to run a business that way. I don't want to install anything that I'm going to risk my own reputation on. Where I feel like, oh, hey, that's the cheapest type of stuff out there. I hope it lasts. Because I've seen stuff like that fail. I really want to discuss something with you. What is it? Uh, why did you say you did the roof of your Teslas? That's exactly what I'm going to be getting on the back window. Like I screwed it up and I need it to come off. What do you recommend? So I did an exterior film on the roof of my Tesla, and it was not an easy film to install, and it's not what it was made for, but it works really well. It keeps the roof 40 degrees cooler and makes it look all shiny. Okay. Best cost on how much it'll cost to do chrome on a Chevy Sonic all the way around. I mean, are you in the area? Are you looking for an actual quote? Or just what I think it would cost you? Because I have no idea. But I can get reflective architectural tint, and I can tint it. But you can find whatever mirror tint on Amazon and try and DIY it. I just don't know how good that stuff is going to be because I don't use it. I'm in New Mexico. I think you mean New America. It's so silly. I thought he was gonna say that next. We'll call it the Gulf of America, and we'll call it New America. New America for sure. I just tinted a CT4 like 2 weeks ago. It's fairly easy. Yeah, I love this car. It's so straightforward. If my days were Malibus and F-150s and CT4s, I'd be a happy tinter. Everybody would be like, "Oh, another CT4," and I'd be like, "It's a great day, guys. We got another CT4." I hardly ever get something like this, though. I wouldn't say I get difficult vehicles, but I wish I got a scary amount of Cadillacs instead of a lot of other cars. I thought it was illegal to do their front windshield. That's illegal to drive with it if you don't have a doctor's note. What's up, Iran? What's a good chrome tint that's a good brand? See, that's what I don't know. Because there's no major manufacturers that make chrome. They make reflective architectural films that would give you the same look, but all your like colors and just like chrome tints and fader films and stuff, they're just like rando Chinese brands. Or just, I don't know, there's like Ultravision, which again, I still don't know for sure, but there was one car that I did. He came back a year and a half later with a buddy, and I got to see it again in person. It still looked good. But it was like, it cost him like $300 for the windshield. In the end, he had that windshield tinted 3 times, and it cost him over $1,000. Because like the first version that they sent him had issues, but that doesn't give you a refund on labor costs. I didn't know that. Yeah, so the more money and popularity there is, the more well supported that thing is. So like if you just go on Amazon and you search like chrome tint, reflective tint, it's like you wouldn't think anything of it. But in terms of like what I can actually buy from a legitimate supplier, it's all just carbon dye, ceramic, metallized in different shades. Because 99% of people buy those films to put on their cars, and a very, very small amount of people actually do any type of like colored film. But especially because it's just so many SKUs, and it's just you like you can almost guarantee you're going to get a ticket for it. So if you're gonna get a ticket for it, then a legitimate supplier like doesn't really have grounds to sell it. Not really. It's like, what's the point? Colored film is pretty popular over in LA. I hear a lot of things are popular over there right now. It's like, it's still a really small part of the market. If you see a bunch of like car clubs or something with some chrome windshields or chameleon windshields, like it's more popular than it used to be, but it's not near. Crunch, crunch. There's just no way you'd see it supported from most major suppliers. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, he's ignoring. Can you read us? What is the question? Yes, because I'm answering somebody else's question. That means I'm ignoring yours. That's what that means. Me. He's not paying attention to me. I don't know. I asked twice, no response. Because I was bitching about something else. What's the question? Asked 3 times. I could ask XQC 50 times in a row, and he's never going to answer my question. I don't intentionally ignore anybody. Scroll up and find the book out. All right. I can't. It actually cuts off. But sorry. See, that's the heckled thing. Again, where I'm going to get a 1-star review. I'll see you on the Google reviews, my guy. I'm sorry. I just can't live up to it. No, he should be responding to me. I asked him twice. I probably asked 10 questions and forgot 9 of them, but I understand. Oh, there it goes. Hang on, let me get to it. It scrolled out. Shit, see, it's gone. See, then we gotta go to this window. I probably asked 10 questions and forgot 9 of them, but I understand he's working. It's not a big deal. I mean, golly, buddy, relax. Oh, he pulled out the buddy. It's okay, pal. I forgot 9 of the questions. I know, so retype it again. It's okay. How much practice will you need to start tinting customers' cars? This isn't a meme answer, but you should have enough practice to make sure your own car looks good before you try just a customer's car. You can practice on your own car over and over and over and over again. And then get friend, family cars, just a couple, and do that. And then see how those go. But there's never a straightforward answer that like that. Tinting, unfortunately, isn't just like I know the steps, therefore I tint. It's a lot of practice. I didn't say it was an important question, but is any question ever? See, I caught that one. 18-mile. Damn, that's far from Detroit. Well, it's definitely not down the road. But I got a lot of justification for that name. You don't have to be in there to call it Detroit. I could have said Sterling Heights Tint Studio. And then anybody outside of Michigan or Metro Detroit would have absolutely no clue what I was talking about. They'd be like, what state are you in? So that's why it's Detroit. It's actually not even good for business. Because, like, if you go to Detroit Tint Studio, like, you just, in your mind, you're like, Detroit? Oh, I don't want to go in Detroit. Oh, go to the Troy one, thanks. It's not a smart choice for local business. I tried Timo window tint. I put 20% nano ceramic. It's cloudy in direct sunlight. I assume that's due to the tint quality. 100%. That is 100% due to the quality. Cheap carbons and cheap ceramic films look hazy. They just do. Years ago, when carbon and ceramic films first became a thing, they were all hazy. But as technology improved, clarity improved. So the way that they make those look better is they use higher grade ceramics, and they also make the particles much finer. So when you say nano carbon or nano ceramic, there's actually very teeny tiny nano-sized particles evenly scattered in your film, and that's what absorbs the heat. So carbon and ceramic really originate from like Asian countries. So you just see lots of both high and cheap quality versions come from there. So when you cheap out on ceramic, it's really, really hazy. How often do you go live? About as often as I have a full car opportunity to do. So at least a couple times a week. No guaranteed slots though. It's just kind of, you can sometimes catch me around 10 to 11 o'clock Eastern time until the car's done. So what should I go with that's fairly cheap? See, that's the problem, is I just said like cheap carbons and cheap ceramics are hazy. So in order to get a clear ceramic, you have to spend more money. There is no cheap ones that just are clear. United window tint. Is that the Korean film with the United States flag on it? Yep, I know it. I don't know. I'm less of a good resource for it now, though. I just don't try every inexpensive film that comes on the market because there's so many. There's so many white label brands that just buy film from X manufacturer, slap a label on it, say it's amazing, and it might be good, it might not be good. You don't know until you leave it on your car. So it's like, it's one thing to just get it and just put it on your own car, but I got to put it on somebody else's car. And so if I'm unsure if it's going to last or not, it's like, I'm not going to install it. So I just don't have reason to spend time on it. There's no good, like, just testing. If there was, like, I could buy a film and just put it through, like, a test machine and just know, that would be great. But there isn't any way that I can do that super easily. Ever tried Omnique? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a couple people bring it. It shrunk fine and installed fine. One of them failed in like 8 or 9 months. That was the gold chrome. There was a darker one we just did the back window on. I haven't done much with it, but they even say on like some of their films they're just not, they're made for like show cars only. So I don't know. But it's 100% like an Alibaba type brand. You can just go on Alibaba, search chrome or chameleon tint, and you can find a bunch of rolls, and it's super easy to source. I have some photochromic tint that I bought. It was actually way more expensive than I thought it was going to be, but I have some. And it works. I don't know how long it's going to last, but yeah, I really wish there was just a simple way. Ooh, I need one more squeegee. Let me get that before I... Yeah, if somebody can get me a window film lab testing machine where I can put it in a machine and then just know what it's going to do in 5 years. That would be great, because then I could give better responses and try a bunch of films and go like, hey, I bought this like $5,000 piece of equipment, and I know that film is garbage because it only lasted, but I don't think enough people will care. I think anybody that wants to save a bunch of money on film, which I totally respect, like I get it, like just buying whatever the cheapest one is, I think those people are just gonna go like, well, maybe his machine was stupid. I don't know. But I don't think it's gonna matter. Start again. No. No, I saw one air trail that skirted its way through here. So I just released that glue. Extreme UV exposure. Yeah, so I've gotten like film to fail. You can put it under like a sun bulb. And so like you can simulate that kind of stuff. But then all somebody has to do is say, yeah, well that's not real world. That's like abuse testing. So under his abuse tester, it didn't work. So, but I'm not doing that. It's just you can make up 100 excuses. If it's not like an actual word from a manufacturer testing somebody else's film, like this is what we do with our films to test them. This is the same test with these films, and like have a lot of credibility behind the testing. I don't think it's gonna matter. Do you make chrome tint customers bring the whole roll? No, whatever they have. But I did none last year. I had like maybe 5 people ask about chameleon film last year. And I said, if you find something, I'll install it. Nobody brought me anything. Look at that. That looks nice. Is 200 a good price? 200 is very cheap. Practice with the Walmart stuff. Walmart's expensive. You can buy small quantities from Walmart, but you'll spend more money on Walmart than just a 50-foot roll of decent film. What percent? So we did 20. 20 on all the sides and the rear. And then we did 50 on the windshield. Scorpion, they've been hitting me up. Yeah, they're just another value brand. I knew some places that did it. I'd say they're like one of the more, because they've been around for a while, they're like one of the more known value brands. They're not going to cost quite as much as GeoShield is. But I didn't like them. The adhesive was like super weak. So that was when I like legitimately shrunk a back window the same way I normally did, and then I had problems with it. And that's after Lumar, ASWF, bunch of stuff. We were filling in for a tinter at another shop for a minute. So that was a thing. Traveling tinter, Scorpion is junk. Maybe he had some bad experiences with it. I don't know. Personally, I didn't have a super good experience either, but I didn't really use it much at all. Oh, he started with it. See, that's the thing. And that's what you gotta, like, a lot of guys don't understand. And it's impossible to explain. Because you'll have like a bunch of people in a Facebook group, like any brand that you ask about, they'll have people that use it and say, I've been using it for 20 years and I've never had an issue. And then you'll have people like him that will have used it for like a practical amount of time and then have a bunch of film failures and then be completely jaded at that brand because it, said it was supposed to be good and it fucking sucked. And then you're never going to try it again. But you're going to get asked about it all the time anyways. And so even if it improves, your bad experience is just going to keep going on and on. I have a few brands like that. Because it's like there is no good film testers. There's no good way to check it. You're always just taking public opinion and a manufacturer's word on it, and no manufacturer is going to say that they have bad film. No manufacturer is going to say, oh yeah, it's only going to last for 3 years. Everything's got a lifetime warranty. Everything's amazing. And then when you actually have a problem, then it's, let's see what the company actually does to make up for it. So, like, I totally get starting out, saving some money, and, like, starting out with a lesser brand. But for a window film, everything gets sold with a lifetime warranty. So it's like not even a question for customers, like how long is the film gonna last? It's like they're all going to have that kind of disclaimer on it. Like, and it's just, you don't know until 2, 3, 4 years down the road till you actually have an issue. And at that point, you have an issue and you're never going to try it again. And then 2 years go by and then it's old news. Oh, well, that was 2 years ago. Maybe it's great now. And so those brands live on. It's just over time you have to read the fine print, limited lifetime warranty. Yep. Not all lifetime warranties are created equal. People will say lifetime warranty. Some will cover coloring. So the term color stable became popular. So if you could have a lifetime warranty film, but it might not have a color stable warranty, which means that your film could be sold with a lifetime warranty and then fail because it turned purple, and they're like, oh, well, that's just the color. Did the adhesive fail? And the other thing is like, okay, what is a company actually going to do? So everybody can say warranty, but all it takes is the company going, okay, well, we're processing your claim. We don't feel we did anything wrong. And then you have to go try and take them to court over something. Like, good fucking luck. How long does tint last? Nobody really knows. People trade out their cars. A good brand should be 7 to 10 years. And some have gone past that, but technology always changes and it's just like hard to track. So I could have a GeoShield 5 years from now or 8 years from now, and then somebody would go, was that really GeoShield on there? Maybe it was something else. Like, I don't know. If tint lasts 5 years, I ain't got a problem dropping 6 to 8. Yeah, for most people, 5 years is more than acceptable, but you can't sell it that way because nobody buys it with a 5-year warranty because everybody's selling it with a lifetime. So you're going to have customers still that are going to keep their cars longer than that. But generally, if you had a massive problem that was past 5 years, it's not going to be near as hurtful 5 years down the road as it would be if it was like 2 years. But all I can see right now is a lot of people in chat thinking, well, if I only get one that is lasting 3 years, then I'm fine. I just don't play those games. Get whatever film you want for your business. Rate this car's difficulty. Cupcake is very easy. Tighter door seal, super flat back window. Not a lot of space to... It's not bad. It's not cramped. But I'd say it's like a little tighter back there to get the film there, but it's a cupcake. Very straightforward. What triage would you recommend the most? I still have scratch mark. All of them. Just make sure you wipe them off. What film are you using? So if you at any point use the card, always make sure you wipe it off in between passes. Because when you dig it into a seal, you can pull some little gritty pieces up with it, and that'll scratch the window. Wipe it off. Greens, pinks, blues. I mean, I have all of them. Oh yeah, there's some people that want to see the store. I gotta show the store. So there's actually a lot of tools here, but it doesn't seem like it. So for triages, we don't carry the orange ones because I'm not a big fan of those, but the blues, the pinks, the greens. We got these special edition ones right here. They're all super nice. And then these are the newer ones that they have. Look at that color scheme. It's like Easter. Let's put these back. But yeah, I like all of these. Easy reaches are going to be like an alternative, but these ones are going to, in my opinion, scratch the window faster. They glide really nice, but then they rough up really quickly. So don't really recommend those except for tight spaces. But there's some other squeegees. Like we have these ones. These ones are good for bottom edges and side seals. They just can't get in quite as far. But yeah, that's all. Lots of tools. We just got these in not too long ago. Those are listed on the store. I don't use them, but we have special edition ones. And then we just got special edition shortcuts. So this is kind of like a side swipe, but it looks cooler. Looks way cooler than a side swipe. My headphone's disconnected. I'm gonna keep a green one. Pink is for real men, 100%. I was saying on Korean Tinter YouTube, I learned window tinting from your video, and I'm still watching. Oh, I appreciate that. It's really nice. What's your opinion on running Facebook ads versus Google ads? Both can be really effective. You want a nice website to run Google ads to. Google ads are going to be more expensive, but you're directing people that are actually searching for window tint, where Facebook is more like a billboard. So you have to have a catchy ad to stop people. It's just you're targeting people on Facebook that are more likely to click on your billboard than not. So both of them are great. They just have their own challenges. What's the oldest tint you've seen? I don't even know. It's really old purple stuff. I couldn't even tell you what it was. I sent you a DM a couple times saying thank you for your training videos. I made a WFCT finalist. Oh, nice. That's super cool. Oh, Solar Guard. Wow. And band. That's nice. What's a good daily budget to have with Google Ads? That I don't know. I am not an online marketer like that. So I'm running Google Ads, but I don't know what a good budget is. Whatever gets you enough business.
They say $100 a day
$100 a day?
is what you should test at.
That is what I'm testing at.
Yeah.
So you should bake what you need to do is also bake your whatever your conversion cost is into your jobs, so then they pay for themselves. And then that cycle perpetuates. So you're gonna lose, you got cost in the job, you got cost in your ads, you got cost in your space, film, everything. What storage system would you recommend for your film? It just depends on your setup. I don't have a perfect system or setup. We just put film vertically in the cabinet. So this is all our Apex. Apex, C2 ceramic, carbon, and then Pro Classic. So we're gonna free up the Pro Classic spot pretty soon. But I used to use just like garage storage, shelving. Shelves are pretty good. You can be pretty efficient with that. I want GeoShield, but they don't ship to my location or the shipment is expensive more than the order. Yeah, it's just international. They're not that big. They don't have international shipping set up. Or like they have shipping set up, but like you said, it's expensive. They don't have an international distributor. How much did you pay per tile? $2, $2.50, something like that. Initially, and then it was more expensive last time I ordered. But this whole space probably cost $4,000 to cover. So like, huh? Okay. Yeah, that's retail. I paid less than that, and you can usually get a discount depending on when you order. So like up to $4 a square foot, but I was able to get it a couple times for less than that. How about the glass to do $4,000 for how many? I don't know. This is probably like 3,300 square feet. This is probably like 2,800 square feet worth of tile, maybe a little less. Yeah, the glass here, this is special. I don't expect anybody to do this. These are literally custom cut glass barn doors that we frosted. So this has GeoShield's frost on the back of it. We put that before we put these up. They look super nice. But yeah, it's basically like a bathroom shower barn door is what this is. We had a glass shop across the street do them for us. What's the best choice in your opinion? We only use SunTech, SolarGuard, XPEL. I don't know. I think those are all going to be good films. It just depends on what your needs are. I think if you're spending a lot on film like that with a brand like that, you want their branding to work for you. But I think all of them would be good choices. I'd probably lean more towards XPEL versus like SolarGuard, just expensive with less of a name now. SunTech is, I'd go for Lumar instead of Suntech because like they're made by the same company, so you're probably spending a lot on Suntech already. And XPEL just has better branding, so it's kind of where I lean on that one. Solar Guards fell off a bunch. Big film company, good films. Nobody knows about them. So if you were to say, if you were to spend the same amount on both of these, and somebody was like, "What film do you install?" and one shop had XPEL and one had Solar Guard, and they knew anything about films or branding or whatever, they would probably lean towards XPEL. Is Autobahn better than XPEL? Now, as far as like actual film qualities, Autobahn, XPEL, like they're all gonna be similar. Autobahn, XPEL, GeoShield, like they're all gonna be basically the same. They're all good films. It just comes down to branding. Like all these companies are separate companies, but a lot of them get manufactured at the same place. So at the end of the day, it's like you're getting a tweaked version of this person's film versus this person's film, but top tier brands are all gonna be great choices for your cars. So that you're not getting anything better other than like feeling better about the brand, and that's what every company fights for, is having better branding so they make their products more appealing. You're not actually testing it, or you're just reading some marketing materials and getting it done on your car. You don't actually know, and that's what they thrive off of. Whoever has the prettier presentation wins. Do you think social media is a must for growing your tint business? I don't think it's a be all end all, no. I think it's harder than ever to just stand out on social media. Every video is weighted independently. So, like, it can help for sure, but you can do local hustling, business cards, networking. Word of mouth is going to work better than social media. Just as far as like time put in versus what you get out. Lexan thoughts? It's cheap. I know a lot of people use it, but I wouldn't trust my shop with it. Just sub wealth of knowledge here. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, like at the end of the day, everybody's films look very similar. There's a lot of companies that all have good films. So if you're shopping within like a particular tier, it's just like window film, you have good margins tinting cars. That's just how it is. You have a lot of time in your space, or you have a lot of money in your space, in your time, in getting the vehicle in here, and everything that it took to get to this point. So, saving some pennies on window film doesn't always work out in the long run. So, I don't really value shop on brands like that. I just wouldn't trust my shop with it. Or just trust that brand with my shop. There's too much at stake. All it takes is a handful of failures, and then all of a sudden I'm getting bad reviews about window film being crappy. I don't want that. I don't want to risk that on saving, what, $50, $100 a roll? How many cars am I getting out of that? 8? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Do tint companies manufacture film in-house? No. There's a few that have manufacturing facilities. The vast majorities do not. You are brands, and then you are manufacturers. And so, like, Matico is 100% manufactured in-house in the U.S. They manufacture film for dozens of brands. Lumar is owned by Eastman. Eastman is the largest chemical company. ASWF, I think, is an all in-house actual U.S. manufacturer. But those brands, they're going to manufacture films for other companies. And then a lot of it is just sourced from overseas manufacturers, and then they slap their brand on it. Solar Guard does? Yep, Solar Guard's a manufacturer. Or they own manufacturing. I don't think it's in the U.S., though. Alrighty, guys. Do you have a tip to avoid a little finger when two-staging? Oh, are you talking about like two-stage, you might get a little finger in here? Just use heat and get rid of it. You can just be a little more gentle in that area, but you're usually going to have it. So just heat them out. There really isn't a perfect way, because every seal is going to be or some seals are going to be tighter than others, so there's no perfect way. You're kind of bending the film to stuff it in there. What's the most films you're paying for advertising? With most films, you're paying for the advertisement. Yep, 100%. That's one reason I like Geo. Geo's kind of like the sweet spot. They're not. I know where the films come from. I can trust the history of the company. They've been super great to work with. They're actually like enthusiastic about newer tinters and just any type of shop in general. Where if I was a Lumar dealer or an Expel dealer or Solar Guard dealer, a lot of those companies, not Solar Guard, that's not fair. Lumar and a bunch of other ones, it's like there's brand restrictions. There's territories. There's things that are in the way in keeping somebody from getting a product and trying it out and learning and stuff like that. So I'm very much about accessibility, and I want to be able to install a good product. So as long as I can trust the film that's in that box, like, then it depends on the company that's selling it. So I'm in what I would consider one of the best spaces for a film where save a little bit on film because they just don't have as known of a brand, but you're getting a hell of a film. One that's going to go toe to toe with so many other companies and brands. It's just not as restrictive though. So years ago when I started doing videos and stuff like that, I would hear that all the time. It's like, I want to go get tint. Where do I go? And it's like, oh, I don't know. Because nobody was selling it to anybody that didn't have a business license. So I'm a fan. I like it. There's other brands now that are like that. High tech. People are talking about Tint Club right now. And God, what? There's got to be a dozen more. Global's a good film. There's a whole bunch of them that are easy to get now, or easier than they used to be. And then you have your A-tier brands that are mostly about branding. So, oh, that was a lot of ranting. All right, I'm going to take off.